You know, inside your home, there's this machine fighting a silent war, day in and day out. We're talking about your HVAC system. It's pretty much the unsung hero of your comfort, but it is constantly under siege from the elements.
Okay, just picture this. It's a ridiculously hot night, the air is so thick you can practically chew it, and then nothing. That constant reassuring hum from your AC just stops. That sudden, awful silence, that's the moment this silent battle gets very, very real. And in extreme climates, that's not just an inconvenience, it's a full-blown emergency.
So what's really causing these breakdowns? Well, the main bad guy, the real villain in this story, is the climate itself. There are all these unseen forces just hammering away at your system. Let's dive in and see what your AC is really up against.
Just look at this number. We're talking about humid, subtropical places like Central Florida, where the heat index, what it actually feels like, regularly goes over 105 degrees. What does that mean for your AC? It means it's running, and running, and running, almost non-stop. That kind of stress is just brutal on every single component, way more than a system in a mild climate would ever have to deal with.
And it's not just the heat, right? It's the water in the air. All that relentless humidity means your system's coils are pretty much always wet. This creates the perfect breeding ground for mold, which can choke off airflow. But it also means parts are constantly damp, which, you guessed it, makes rust and corrosion happen way, way faster.
And if you thought humidity was bad, get this. There's another invisible attacker, salt. And you don't even have to live on the beach. Salt air can drift from miles inland. This salty moisture is incredibly corrosive, and it just aggressively attacks the delicate metal on your outdoor unit, literally eating away at the heart of your system.
Okay, now here's one you've probably never even thought about. A lot of homes are built on sandy soil, and that soil subtly shifts and settles over time. It's so slow you'd never notice it, but those tiny little movements can actually be enough to pull the joints in your ductwork apart up in the attic. Wild, right?
And the impact of that is just huge. A disconnected duct isn't some minor issue. A single leak can cause your system's efficiency to plummet by a staggering 30%. Think about that. You are paying good money to pump all that wonderful, precious cold air directly into your scorching hot attic instead of your living room. So with all these threats, your system is eventually going to send out an SOS. The key is learning how to hear it. If you can decode the warning signs, you can catch a problem before it turns into a total catastrophe.
And believe it or not, your system speaks a pretty simple language. If you feel warm air coming out of the vents, it's probably a refrigerant leak. Hearing the outdoor unit making a humming sound but the fan won't kick on? That's a classic sign of a failed capacitor, a little part that just gets cooked by the constant heat. See water dripping from a ceiling vent? That almost always points to a clogged condensate drain. And if one room is an oven while another is an icebox, yep, you're likely dealing with that disconnected ductwork we just talked about.
Okay, you've spotted a problem, you've made the call for help, and for a lot of us, this is where the anxiety kicks in. What's going to happen? How much is this going to cost? A professional service call shouldn't be a mystery. Let's break it down.
It should always, always follow this simple, transparent, three-step process. First, a real diagnosis to find the actual root cause. Second, a clear, written estimate that you have to approve before any work starts. And third, after the repair, they do final testing to make sure everything's working perfectly. No surprises. That's how it should be.
And transparency is absolutely key here. A trustworthy technician will literally show you the failed part. They'll explain why it broke. That simple act gets rid of any fear of mystery charges and gives you the confidence that you're only paying for what's really necessary.
Beyond just fixing the machine, you can spot a real pro by the little things. They show up on time. They wear shoe covers to respect your home. They explain the problem in a way you can actually understand. And they clean up their mess. These small details make a huge difference.
Sooner or later, every homeowner comes to this crossroads. The technician gives you that repair estimate, and you have to face the biggest financial question of all. Do you keep pouring money into this old system, or is it finally time for a new one?
This is the real question, isn't it? At what point are you just throwing good money after bad? Pouring hundreds of dollars into a system that's on its last legs might feel like the cheaper option today, but it could end up being way more expensive in the long run.
Well, to help you answer that, there's a handy little guideline called the $5,000 rule. Now, it's not a law of physics or anything, but it is a really simple and effective tool to help you make a smart decision based on numbers, not emotions.
Here's how it works. You multiply your system's age in years by the estimated repair cost.
If that number is more than $5,000, replacement is probably the smarter financial move. So for example, let's say your system is 12 years old and it needs a $500 repair. 12 times 500 is $6,000. That's over the threshold, which tells you that this repair is probably not a great investment.
Now, if the rule points you towards replacement, your next big decision is about the SEER rating. Just think of it like gas mileage for your AC. You can go with the minimum standard, which is SEER 14, or you can invest a bit more upfront for a high-efficiency unit that's SEER 16 or higher. In a tough climate where the AC runs constantly, that higher rating can lead to some serious savings on your monthly power bill.
All of this information, the threats, the warning signs, the financial rules, it's all designed to do one thing: move you from a place of worry to a position of control. The final step is to shift from being a reactive worrier to a proactive watchdog for your home's most vital appliance.
And here's your watchdog checklist. These are the simple preventative things that should be done every year. Notice anything familiar? Cleaning coils, clearing that drain, inspecting the ductwork. These directly fight back against those climate-based threats we talked about at the very beginning. This is how you go on the offensive.
It's really time we stop thinking of maintenance as just another bill. It's not. It's an investment. It's an investment in the health of your home and, honestly, an investment in your own peace of mind, knowing you won't be the one stuck in 100-degree heat with an AC that just died.
So ultimately, it all comes down to this one question. A well-maintained system that you understand is a powerful asset that protects your home and your family. But a neglected one? Well, that's just a ticking time bomb, a massive liability waiting to fail. The choice of which one you have is completely up to you.